You are now listening to bonus episode of the Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast. I am your host, the 5-star 5-diamond chef J-Man. And with me is Captain Duck Hunter. Carl.
Good spooky month time of the year. My name is Carl. Obviously, this is a bonus episode for the Halloween issue.
You know what I was wanting to do, but I didn't have the time to cleverly think of something. I wanted to come up with like ghoulish names for our names. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched those Simpsons Halloween specials.
Oh yeah,
when they roll the credits and it's like James Hell Brooks instead of James L. Brooks. But I couldn't think of what the equivalent of our names would be like that.
Let's see. We can say that
the 5 knives, and 5 axes chef.
Ooh, yeah,
that chops you up, J-Man.
Yeah, probably pretty cool.
And with me, smelly sweatpants man,
smelly
Carl. Sweatpants. And a tidbit to the listeners: I am sitting here in the studio, very uncomfortable, with Carl's Green Lantern costume from 10 years ago.
And,
and there will be proof of it because as we have our social media manager, Stacy, here.
And I'm getting hair in my mouth as we speak because this Duck Dynasty costume keeps going to my mouth.
That costume looks pretty good.
But anyway, I mean, it's Halloween now, and it is one of the best times to be alive month. And if you're not into the spirit of Halloween, I don't know what to do with you guys.
I think Halloween's your thing, right?
Halloween is my thing because I was born in Halloween month. I was born basically during this time of the year.
So you were probably conceived after a Halloween party?
No, I was conceived during Puamoya month, so...
Oh, you were given birth during Halloween, so your mom probably had costume on.
Yeah, probably.
Little Carl came out.
I'm pretty sure that's basically what happened.
But since this is your thing, I am prepared to give you the steering wheel.
All right.
To the episode. There's absolutely no format. Absolutely unprepared on my end, and I know that's how you like to roll. So, this whole spooky season, this is really going to be a spooky episode because then knowing how you drive, before long we'll be talking about potato stories, talking about blaming the media
again
for all our problems, congratulating everybody for things that they don't need congratulating for, but...
So today we're going to be talking about movies, haunted houses, haunted places, actually. So sit back and relax this nice 40-minute worth of just talking about spooky.
I just now noticed the background music.
It's spooky. It's the spooky stuff.
Note to J-Man, when you want Carl to try hard, make sure it's something that he's interested in.
And I did really try hard for this, so
I do feel uncomfortable because I'm wearing one of those costumes that has the muscles,
the fake muscles in there.
The fake muscles on top of my real muscles are kind of making it hard to sit in the seat. But it was funny because we've done a Halloween episode before.
Yeah.
And we talked about some of the costumes that we wore as kids, but we didn't talk about some of the costumes we wore as adults.
No.
And, going back to my college years, I think there was a stretch between probably 2006 to 2009 where I dressed up as Leandro Barbosa from the Phoenix Suns for 3 straight years.
What? Dressing up as another man?
And basically what it constituted was just me wearing my Suns jersey and some Sun shorts.
Yeah, basically. One costume that I really like dressing up as is the vampire costume. I like vampires
as an adult.
As an adult, yeah.
Probably because it matches your skin tone.
Probably because I never get out during the day. So
show us your glasses, Carl.
The white
blindness.
Don't want to scare you too much, but growing up on the reservation here, you hear a lot of stories about the like different different folklore stories, right?
Yanagloshis.
Yeah, like sort of,
or is that Navajo?
like sort of those types of things like that. And one of the stories that did pop out to me,
yeah, I think she made an appearance in the FX show Reservation Dogs, but they call her the Deer Lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's strange, because a lot of the folklore is basically taken from Native American stuff, and we have the same similar folklores as other Native Americans, like with Tikuwuti. That's basically the same type of folklore.
Same concept.
Yeah, the same concept like that. And there's a lot of places out here on the reservation that are kind of haunted in that way. Hence, one place that I would probably never go to is Keams Canyon School.
Really?
The old school. The one that's still up there at Keams Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it is very scary up there. Even during
very scary
even during the day, it's like this weird thing. If you go in there, you're feeling like you're being watched. You're feeling like you're being not welcome there. You have this really solace feeling like something's gonna jump out at you. And I don't know if it's like the horror mind in me, like thinking like Scream is gonna start chasing you, or like Jason's gonna pop out in one scene, and it's weird because I went up there with a friend, and it was during our lunch break, and my friend and I we said that, hey, there's that abandoned church, that abandoned school up there. And we go up there and we walk in there, and it's just this weird, like ambience. And it's like this, there's like all of these different, like, it's boarded up and you can see little lights shining through, and you walk through, and it's like, I don't want to go any further than just what I'm looking at right now, because I know there's probably like a dead body in there somewhere. I know there's probably going to be like a ghost girl in there.
There's like ooze pouring out of the walls.
There's probably like real skeletons in the wall.
There's like the little voice that's screaming, Carl.
That's probably true. One thing that will kind of stay with me is that one of my good friends that works at the school up at Hotvella Day School, he was saying that at night he was cleaning up. He was cleaning up during this after school, and it was getting dark during this time of year. It gets dark quicker, and he goes and turns off the lights in the gym, and it was like he felt something. He's like he felt something that was like watching him, and he turns off the light, and he hears a basketball bounce in the gym. No one's in there yet. No one's in there. And so he's like, oh my God. He's like, whoever's in there, don't scare me, basically. So he quickly runs out of the front door, and he goes, and he's like, he doesn't want to look back, because basically that school is haunted up there. There's other places too, like at the Hopi Day School down here in beautiful downtown Kikotsmovi, Arizona. He said that underneath there is a crawl space underneath the stage. And he went there one time because in there's like these they're kept like these tables, or like these little tables, chairs under there, and in the back there's a different crawl space. And he said that doesn't seem to look right underneath the school. There's like, it's really spooky, like not knowing what's underneath this crawl space. So I don't know if you had any type of other like spooky stuff that you could share.
We take a break from episode 2 of the, what did you call it? The greatest podcast in the world podcast, Carl Solo podcast. I think that pretty much any structure on the reservation that there's claims of it being haunted. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that folks die there or bad things happen in different areas.
Yeah.
Because then, you hear so many stories, even relating to like the highways that go through Hopi. Because there's this one funny meme about the roads through Hopi, or at least the highway through Hopi, because there's so many twists and turns.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, that there are accidents that happen in various parts of the highway out here, that even the highway is claimed to be haunted, and that at times when you're driving through at night that you'll see things on the side of the road. Although I've never seen anything on the side of the road, but, that's kind of a lot of what the locals will claim to say, that, in various parts of the highway there are spooks and ghouls
So did you ever run into
various...
So did you ever run into something spooky like that?
Ectoplasma out and about.
Did you ever run into anything spooky like that?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I really can't think of anything.
Really? Nothing has shown itself to you in a way you weren't spooked out?
No, because like my costume, Carl, I'm like a hero. So, there isn't a whole lot out there that scares me. So, while the rest of you cowards, I guess, are spooked easily by some of these structures out here.
At the tribe, there's a story. One of the ladies that clean up at night, she was telling us, and she was retiring at the time. So I asked her what sort of spooky things that you kind of encountered while cleaning at night at the tribe. And so I believe that the Hopi tribe is built over like a grave,
old Indian
burial ground. Yes, of course. Dun, dun, dun.
I think we need to call the Hopi ghost stories people from Facebook and get them on here, because I don't know who out there you're scaring, Carl. Maybe you're scaring a 5-year-old out there with some of your scary stories.
No.
This
is
your game up a little.
This is actually true, because I interviewed her when she was retiring, and I asked her what sort of scary things that she encountered. And she's like, the one building that I would never go in is the DNR building. Remember the third building where like CPO and where they kept all those like Hopi stuff before.
The sacred artifacts.
The sacred artifacts and stuff. And she's like, I would never go in there after dark, because one time she saw that lights would turn on by itself.
For our listeners that aren't familiar, what is CPO?
Cultural Preservation Office.
And what do they do?
They protect the culture part of Hopi.
Okay. And then what kind of items would they have?
Just Hopi artifacts, paintings, drawings, Kachina dolls, etc.
Okay.
Besides that,
it's called context, Carl. Context is very important when telling a story.
But you don't want to hear the context when you're telling a scary story.
I don't know, Carl. It might help.
But anyway,
it might help you float a little bit. It looks like you're having a hard time swimming there.
So anyway, she said that I would never clean in that building ever again, especially at night, because she saw that lights would turn on by itself, like lights that she would turn off, and then it would come back on. Not because somebody else is in there, it's because that something was in there. And she heard that one time in the executive or the legislative, or what is it called, where the chairman and vice chairman are at. What is that building called?
I'm going to need you to drive straight, Carl, and drive a little bit better before I take the wheel back.
The middle building. Everybody knows it by the middle building. I'll call it that. So she's cleaning in there one time, and she said that she heard a typewriter. Typewriters are still being used at the tribe, basically, even in this 21st century here.
And that's the real scary part
and that's
of the story.
very, very real scary part of the story. But she said that I heard a typewriter was typing in one of the rooms there, and she tried to get into the room, but her key wouldn't work. And so she knocked on the door saying that, hey, if anybody's in there, it's after 5. You guys have to leave now. I'm cleaning up. If there's anything that you guys need, just let me know. So she goes about her cleaning duties, and she turns. She goes walks, and she walks a few meters away, and she turns to that door, and the door is open. The door is it was open basically, and so she's like puzzled. Why is this door open? So she goes and inspects, and she sees no typewriter in there. There was no typewriter in that room there. So she's like, this is not for me. This is basically all the things that she's have experienced when she was a cleaning lady or a cleaning person there at the tribe. So, I mean, there's a lot of spooky stuff here on the reservation that a lot of things that are spooky that we just don't really talk about. So,
have you ever been to a costume party before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, multiple times.
Did you ever enter a costume contest?
No, never have.
What would you say the best costume you ever dressed up as?
Let's see.
Aside from the dazzling piece you got on right now.
Spider-Man. I remember dressing up as Spider-Man before.
And for reference out there, you can see our costumes on Facebook and Instagram at Carl and J-Man.
So, jumping from the haunted houses here on the Hopi Reservation, what are your scary...
I just want to share one thing before we make that transition. That the cool thing that I like about Halloween, I like it when people go all out. I like it when people have like the real nice costumes to wear, not this thing that I have on right now, but like to where they actually look like what it is that they're dressing up as.
Yeah.
Because for anybody out there that's gone to school out in Tempe or Phoenix on Halloween night, if you're out on the infamous spooky Mill Ave, or talking about haunted old houses, old places, Graham Central Station, rest in peace, that if you ever gone out there on a Halloween night, that you would see awesome costumes like that. You would see Halo, Master Chief in full gear.
Oh, yeah.
An exact replica of the Predator. Or my favorite Halloween story that I always like to tell us, that one time that there was this costume contest at Graham Central Station, and that the winners of the costume contest were two guys that dressed up as Forrest Gump and Lieutenant Dan. Except that the guy that dressed as Lieutenant Dan, he was dressed as No Legs Lieutenant Dan, but the guy that dressed the costume was an actual paraplegic. So the guy legit had no legs.
That's a good costume. It's a very good costume.
One of my favorites.
Nice.
Okay, back to your show.
So I know that you don't like Halloween. You probably
I like the fun parts of Halloween. I like the costumes. I like the hot nurses. I like the various slutty versions of
Joe Biden.
The different types of things.
Did you know there's a costume that the sexy Joe Biden now?
Is there really?
There is.
No kidding.
Yeah, and there's actually, and I'm not. This is a disclaimer that I'm not making fun of a pandemic, but there is a sexy COVID patient.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That sparked a lot of controversy.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it did. It was a sexy COVID patient. Basically what it was that you buy the mask and then you just dress up in a Halloween gown, but the Halloween gown is like cut in a certain spot.
Exposing
certain areas. Okay. So the sexy COVID patient. So, and I was like, man, that sparked a lot of controversy.
Well, you're not a guy that gets offended by very much anything, but, potentially some offensive costumes out there. So if you got to think about it, I probably just don't do it. If you're questioning your costume choice.
Yeah. So do Hopis like Halloween?
I think for the most part, I think so. I think we like dressing up. I was reflecting back on that Halloween episode that we did last year, and I proclaimed that my corn sisters like to dress up as princesses because it's the only time that they can wear a crown. So it's kind of our opportunity to dress up in I guess in a way kind of live other lives based upon what we're dressed as.
So I know that you don't like Halloween, and I made that clear. But
I just said.
I know I made that clear.
I did.
But this is I'm switching gears. I'm switching gears right now. So, what sort of Halloween movies do you or would you watch if you weren't scared of Halloween?
I just said, Carl, that I like some aspects of Halloween. Or did you not hear me through your Duck Dynasty beard?
No, I heard you, but you said that you like the fun parts of Halloween. Halloween's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be spooky. Why would anybody do it? It's supposed to be spooky. It's supposed to be haunted stuff. I like the haunted stuff.
Let me ask you this question, because you're the expert in this. What are your top 5 favorite, I guess, horror movies?
Top 5 favorite horror movies. But I asked you first. What is your...
Well, you're the expert.
Okay. Let's
do the expert first.
Okay. So my top 5 horror movies of all time, basically, and this is in no particular order, is right now, I love the movie Witch. You know, the American folklore Witch?
Never heard of it.
And it talks about like this, the introduction to like 13th century or 14th century witches. And in this movie, it talks about a family that has been damned to live by themselves and to fend for themselves from a community. And in there, it's like the introduction to Satan and worshiping like the devil himself through witches. And I think it was a perfect movie. It's, it talks a lot about the history of witches, basically. So I really like that movie. So go out and rent that movie or get that movie. But I do really like that movie. The next movie that I really like is Bram Stoker's Dracula. I don't know if you heard that movie before.
Nope.
You never heard that movie before. 1998. 1998 was the best time to be alive.
See, Carl, why I asked you first, because I'd be done with my list by now. But then at least with your interpretation, there's a little bit more body for us to have a conversation.
So in that movie, it's about Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is Dracula, or Vlad Dracula is what they call him in the reference in the movie. And it is a perfect love story about how man has given up on him, so he's given up on the faith of Christianity to turn to the dark side because of how they treated his wife in the late 11th century idea of Christianity or Catholicism. And in there, it's a perfect movie. I really like it. It's a very love story-esque, and the imagery in there is very very Tim Burton-like, but it's just this very, very good baseline of how Dracula is formed. So I really like that movie.
Cool.
You know, my other all-time favorite movie is Bride of Chucky. You know, the Chucky movies.
That I've heard of.
I've heard of. Okay, good. Now it's something that we can talk about. So
I haven't seen it.
You never seen The Bride of Chucky? Oh my God. You have to see all of these movies.
I hated Chucky as a kid.
Really?
I hated it.
The 80s were
scared the hell out of me. Just the concept of a doll that's alive and kills people. And I think what makes that a scary concept is that there's dolls in everybody's houses.
Yeah.
And so at any moment, what you think is harmless could come out and kill you, basically.
It's just basically like the Puppet Master. Have you seen the Puppet Master?
No.
Oh my God. You have to see these types of movies.
I'm not watching any of these movies.
Well, anyway, the first movie, Child's Play, right? 1984 Child's Play.
I've heard. I might have seen parts of it. I can't tell the movies apart.
Yeah. Child's Play. I mean, perfect
they're
movie.
All Chucky to me.
Yeah, perfect movie.
And we didn't even call them Child's Play. We just called them the Chucky movies.
Yeah,
Chucky.
But the third movie is with Jennifer Tilly. You know, she revamps the whole idea of how Charles Lee Ray is going to be looking like, and I just love the imagery. I just love the music.
Charles Lee Ray is Chucky.
Yeah, Charles Lee Ray.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's Chucky.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the serial killer. Yeah, remember? You don't know these movies. That's just very, very sad on your end. So. Okay, so I think this is my fifth movie.
I think so. Let's say it's your fifth.
Okay, so the fifth one, I hope this is the fifth one, but this one is my newest one. It's called Dr. Sleep.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of Dr. Sleep. Oh my God.
Is that like the Sandman?
No, this is the second continuation of The Shining. You probably heard about The Shining.
I've heard of The Shining. You know where I've seen The Shining? Through the fantasy movie Ready Player One.
yeah, that's
The Shining.
Yeah, Stephen King's The Shining. Yeah,
Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One.
Yeah. But anyway, the Dr. Sleep is like the revamp or like the continuation of Danny. Danny, he's that little boy in The Shining where he lives out his life and he's a grown man. And he has still this shining inside of him. You know, the shining where he can communicate without talking. And it's a really great movie. I thought the imagery was pretty great. The imagery was pretty neat because it incorporated another person that has a shining. And we don't know that the shining is real and or extensive in a way when you watch the actual movie The Shining. But then it talks about a lot more about like this whole idea that there are people out there that have this type of power that basically can manipulate other people. And in that movie, there's a group of people that have been living for ages and eating children, basically.
Ew.
And because of that, they live for a very, very long time. So very, very good movie. I love it. The Shining is great, but Dr. Sleep is pretty good as well too.
You know what horror movies I've seen?
Okay.
I've seen The Exorcist.
Perfect.
The Exorcist is a movie I've seen.
Really?
And movies like that creep me out. Like this idea that you could be possessed by something. And then, I think in that movie they do a real good depiction of showing the progression of the girl that's possessed and then going through and to where she's looking real demonish.
Oh yeah.
And even to the point, where she kills or the priest guy gets killed when he jumps through the window. Do you ever have dreams to where like you're in a place and for some reason you're in search of the devil?
Not with the devil, no.
Or a being of pure evil?
No, nothing like that. I never have dreams like that.
Do you ever have dreams where you're what do they call it in Hopi? It's called mashuruti.
Oh yeah.
What do the Pahanas call that? Scared
shitless.
Do you ever have dreams like that?
No, I never had dreams
You've
like that.
never had dreams
I never
like
had
that?
dreams like that. No.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I know that scary movies don't scare me as much, so I'm used to it.
You know what other movies that I enjoy that are of the horror variety? I do enjoy the zombie movies.
Oh, really?
I like World War Z.
It's not a scary movie, though.
To me, it's a scary movie. I like that. I like, what is that? George Romero's, the most recent one he did.
George Romero's. Let's see. What did he do?
He's part of that zombie cult. He does the zombie movie.
Oh, okay.
But he did a real recent one. I think it had like John Leguizamo in it. Basically, the whole premise is that it's post-zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
But then they have, I guess, a society established amongst the zombies.
Yeah.
But then it's like only the super rich actually have what we consider today a normal lifestyle.
Okay.
And then everybody else that's poor, they're basically living on the streets.
Ah. I never heard of that movie.
I think that came out in the 2000s, maybe.
One of the
90s.
One of the other movies that I really did like was Ghost Ship. I don't know if you heard of Ghost Ship before.
I've heard of Ghostbusters. Is that considered a horror movie?
No, Ghost Ship. You have to watch Ghost Ship. That's a very interesting. That's like an intro to like ghosts.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
What are some horror flicks that are associated with Native culture?
Ooh.
Isn't there one called Thinner? Isn't that?
Yes.
Isn't that involved?
Yes.
Native
kind
peoples?
Well, no, it doesn't. It involves like gypsies.
Oh, gypsies.
Yeah.
I thought it was natives.
No, I think there is like a native-esque kind of thing in there, like the magic part of it, but it's run by like gypsies. Yeah. Oh, I love that movie. That's another Stephen King's horror classic. Yeah.
What are some other flicks that are associated with Native culture?
Let's see. Dark Wind.
Dark Wind, a cultural classic or a local classic.
Dark.
A movie that actually featured Hopis.
Yeah. Actually. There's actually one. Green Inferno. Have you ever seen that one before?
Never heard of it.
Oh, you have to watch that one. It's all about gore stuff. If you're into gore,
and that has native culture in it?
It has like South American native culture.
Oh, South American native culture.
Yeah, it's if you watch the original Green Inferno, it's built back in the 1970s, made back in the 1970s, and it's like this group of French people that go down to South America to like these headhunters, and in there they film like people eating people, like worshiping a different god, and they eventually get eaten by themselves. So the whole crew in there was eaten. Like
the crew whole that filmed
the film, was eaten in the 70s, and it sparked this whole controversy about
like they were legit eaten.
No. They thought that they were eaten because it was like all homemade movie, like the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. I've seen that movie.
Oh yeah, it was like that type of esque movie. And this new Green Inferno, I think came out in 2013, something like that, I believe. And it's basically the same premise of it, where these headhunters, they eat people basically. They eat other people. And they go and film themselves, and it's like basically the same thing. The whole crew gets eaten by these headhunters.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. It sparked a huge controversy of how these banned movies from the U.S. are still banned in the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So like Green Inferno is actually banned in the United States.
So how do I watch it?
I think you can still buy the movie off seas.
Like a DVD?
Like a DVD, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the real original Green Inferno. Yeah.
Is Aliens considered a horror movie?
Sci-fi horror, yeah.
Yeah, I like Aliens. Aliens is a good movie.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver looking hot in that movie. She was like in her early 20s.
I enjoy anything that has to do with guns and action.
Of course you do. So what else? I have one for you. You probably watched this one here. Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, is that considered a horror?
That's considered a Halloween and Christmas movie.
Yeah, I've seen it. I watch it every year. I try to consume as much Christmas movie show watching I can during December, which includes that.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's a great movie. I love it. It's a cult classic movie. I mean, go watch it. If anybody out there is listening, go out and watch all these great movies that I mentioned.
If you haven't turned the episode off after Carl's third attempt to scare you.
It's not scary. It wasn't supposed to be scary. It was supposed to inform you that there were actually scary places here on the reservation. And I don't know why you don't...
Tomato, Carl.
Oh, that reminds me too, is that this building that we're in is little haunted.
Oh, goddamn, let's get out of here then.
Yeah, it's a little haunted. This actually happened last year when we were filming our Halloween's episode as well too. Is that I was here, and I think it's during this time as well too, around dusk. Mm-hmm. And I came in all alone and nobody was here. The door was always open for us, and it was on the weekend. And I remember this. I had the door open and I was setting up my gear, putting all these microphones together, and I heard footsteps. Not like regular footsteps, but like little padding footsteps, like tick, 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 tick. And I was like, who's here? Like, I thought it was maybe like a dog that came in or something.
Yeah.
So I go out and check, and nothing. And there's only one hallway in this building here that just spans the entire building here. Mm-hmm. And I look both ways and nothing. I didn't think of anything of it. I go back to setting up stuff. And then I heard this real loud bang. It's like a board drop. Like, you know how like a 2x4, you hear 2x4 and it just kind of, you drop it on the floor and it makes this weird sound.
Boom.
Yeah. And I go out and I'm like, there's nothing out here too. I was like, this is scary. This is creepy enough. And I think I've told you this too prior to recording.
This is the first time hearing of it.
No, I think I did. I said that I think this building is haunted here.
First time hearing it.
No, I think I did.
First time hearing it. First time you ever mentioned anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, this is the second time then.
First time.
But anyway, yeah, I go out and check and there was nothing out there. So I think this building is a little haunted.
Well, then why the hell are we in here? Let's go.
I don't know. You wanted to.
Let's go.
You wanted to record.
Hey, do you think that people out here on the reservation are kind of, I guess, immune to these types of stories?
I think so.
Because they happen so often?
Yeah, I think so. It's like, because I was kind of puzzled. I'm like, I was kind of puzzled that, like, how come we don't have like paranormal activities like in our houses? Like in my house, I have 3 floors. The 3rd floor is my attic. And one night and I have my cat, and he likes to lay on my lap, and we were watching I think we're just watching regular TV on channel 3 or channel 5 or something. And it went to commercial, and we heard like footsteps up top of our attic. And I was like wondering what that was. And my cat looks up, and he knows that there's something up there. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, so I tell Kwai, I said that I think somebody's up there in our attic. So I immediately go up there, turn on the light in the attic, and nobody's up there.
You have your plastic proton pack that they used to sell when we were kids. You have your ghost trap.
I have my ghost trap. Yeah, exactly.
Like, Larry, watch my flank.
It's
you tie a piece of rope to your waist, and if you see
it's like the
twisting, pull me back.
And it was scary because I heard it, my cat heard it, Kwa heard it, like actual steps going across. And in our house, we have these lights that turn on automatically when you walk by them. And they're battery operated. And when you go downstairs into the 2nd level, we have these lights that are down there so we can help us see at night. Mm-hmm. And we go and we're just watching TV. And this was in summertime. And we're watching TV and lights just automatically come on. Nobody was down there. Just randomly came on. And we're like wondering, that's the first time that ever happened to us. Mm-hmm. All these years we had these lights here, and that's actually the first time that these lights came on by itself. So I think our house is haunted.
I think the whole reservation's haunted, would be my guess. Because, I think, those things are pretty common for folks out here, where you hear noises where there shouldn't be noises, or you hear things happen like that. And I think for us Hopis, our reaction is just to yell at whoever's there.
Oh, yeah.
Go home.
Don't hurt me.
Yeah, don't hurt me.
I'll feed you.
I'll sell my soul. Just let me live.
My boss, she was alone at work too, the place where I'm at. And in our trailer, she heard the same thing too, footsteps. And she was all alone, and she's like, oh, okay, it must be the night guard that comes around and checks on us. And so she's like, I'm still in here, not knowing that, because her door is closed. And she hears footsteps throughout the trailer. And she's like, oh, okay, somebody must be wanting me to get out now because they keep walking by my door. And the lights are off too. And so she goes out and she looks around, and nobody. The door is completely locked from the outside. She can only open it from the inside. And she's like, that's weird. Footsteps are walking right by my door. And so she's like, so she gets mad at it. She's a Hopi, of course. So she's going to get mad at it. And she's like, she has a little piece of bread. She's like, here, I'll feed you this bread. Just don't hurt me, basically. So I think that's one of like the other scary things that did happen.
You did your job, Carl. You got me scared. I think it's time for us to get out of here.
But anyway, a lot of places here on the reservation are haunted. And if you guys want to hear some more stories, go to the Hopi online, Hopi ghost stories. Yeah, they tell a lot of ghost stories, and there's a lot out there. So if you're not, and they're on Facebook. If you guys aren't friends with them, look them up. Hopi ghost stories. They'll basically, you can tell your side of the story of ghost stories as well.
I'm sweating in my costume, Carl. Take us home.
But anyway, thank you again for listening to this bonus episode of the Scary Spooky Month.
And so I hope that a lot of you... what was that?
Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. What We just turned down that music. What the hell was that?
I don't know, dude, but I don't want to stick around to find out. Plus, I'm smelling through this thing. Let's go. Let's go.
Go. Okay. All right. Well, thank you again.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please come back to our episode. Sorry, Carl scared you guys.
All right. Well,
I'm out, dude.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you again.